Hi guys, in today's short video I'm going to show you how I wire up the Cobalt IP digital point motors. That's what I'm getting on with at the moment. So there'll be a few montages, a few explanations and maybe some running shots whilst I test the points later on in the video. So I hope it's helpful. I'll try and talk through as much as I can and hopefully it's helpful for somebody. So let's roll the intro, get into the video. I hope you enjoy it. There's 4 Cobalt IP digital point motors on the layout. They're all super easy to install. They have a sticky pad backing so that you can attach the motor to where you need it. So you'll see that I've made the hole for the motor here. So that's just there for now. And now what I'm going to do is add the wiring. It's all super easy. Very little soldering at all. So you've got the DCC in and out just at the bottom here, and they're all spring-loaded contacts, so super easy to install. And then you've got the frog wire, and then the switch left and right, which you can add to the points themselves. So I realise my wiring looks very untidy at the moment. This will all be tidied up once I know that everything's working. There isn't really any point of tidying it up before I know that everything runs as well as it can do, just because you'll be spending more time untaping everything and unscrewing everything later on. So I like to just keep it all quite free-flowing for the start, and then I'll tidy it up later so you've not got all of this wiring out. So I'm going to set the camera on the tripod and let's get on with a montage to show you what I do with this. So firstly, this is the wire from the frog on the point. So these are all Electro Frog Pico points. So this is the wire directly coming from the point just around the corner here. And this goes straight into the Cobalt point motor, it says Handley Frog. So just pop it in. Very simple. Let's make sure this wire is. I'll just use a screwdriver, just find the right terminal. Try that again. I need to chop a bit off this. There we are. Very easy. Okay, so now all the wires are soldered to my DCC power bus. Again, I'll make it clear the wiring is quite untidy at the moment, but I'll tidy this up once I know that everything is working. Quite easy to do this. Just got my black and red feeds, plus positive and negative feeds, and got dropper wires coming off that will now go into the Cobalt. So if I follow my wiring that I've been doing, so we've got white to red, and I know that I'm using 2 purple cables, one for the frog and one for the negative feed, but it is what it is. It's quite clear which cable is from the frog itself, so it's not too much of an issue really. So we'll go with the white cable going into the bottom. That's great, that's in. I've made the cable quite short as well, on purpose really, just so it's not as long and tangled. Might make it easier to neaten up a bit later on. And there's the other one in. So now what we'll do is I'll just connect the NC power cab and just check that this is working before I move on to the next Cobalt further along. Okay, there's plenty of videos on YouTube about how to set up Cobalt IP digital point motors. Obviously, if you use a different controller, it will be a different process, but today we're using the NC power cab. On the Cobalt IP digitals, super easy to set up. On the IP digital itself, it has a set button, so what we'll do is we'll put that to set. So now effectively what we're going to do is allow the point motor to learn an address. I've got 4 points on this layout at the moment on the scenic section. So I just numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is point number 3. So we'll get our NC power cab and we'll go select accessory. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Select accessory. We're going to go for number 3. So we'll press number 3. Then we'll press the enter button, and what we'll do is we'll click, so you've got on and off, so basically left and right throw. And so what we'll do is we'll do that again just to make sure, number 3, and then we'll go number 1. So now, in theory, the Cobalt has learnt the address, so now we'll set it to run, and if everything works, hopefully it'll work in a minute. So we'll set that to run. Okay. So now in theory, if everything's wired up correctly, if I select accessory 3, well, we have power. That's a good start, I guess. Let's go accessory 3, we'll throw it the other way. Okay, so this is great. We've got power. The point's thrown across, so that's positive. What I'm going to do is, whilst we've got everything out, soldering iron, etc., I'm going to move and do the next point motor, get that all wired up. I'm not going to, I'll montage it, but I won't talk you through it. And then I'll come back, flip the layout back over, and test the points. Just so I'm not flipping the layout back over and back over again. The more you do that, I suppose the more the layout is going to potentially get damaged. But it is super helpful to be able to flip the layout over and work on it this way. I can imagine if you had it on a wall or something, it'd be a bit more difficult having to climb underneath. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move on to the next one. I'll set the camera up so you can see what I'm doing again, and then I'll come back to you once we're at the end. Okay, so we've installed points 3 and 4. So I'm just going to test these having turned the baseboards back over. Okay, so that's point 3. I'll just try that one again the other way. Okay, that seems to be thrown across quite nicely. Let's have a look at point number 4 now, which is our exit point to the footer yard. Lovely, that's thrown across quite well too. Try it the other way. Fantastic. Okay, so they're all installed now. So what I'm going to do is just go and screw the point motors to the baseboard. It's not ideal to keep the sticky pads on there because they'll drop off eventually. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back up, test one more time, and then maybe get some trains running just to check that everything is okay in that department too. So you'll join me back on the layout in a few moments for you, where we'll test some locos. Okay, we're back in the room. So the layout was shorting out on the points. Now, the reason this was, I just swapped the positive and negative wires over on the Cobalt. So obviously they were the wrong way around. So that was just a quick fix. So now in theory everything should be okay. So we'll get this 33 running around just to test out what's going on. So as I mentioned before, the 33's got a stay alive in it, so it's quite a reliable loco really. So probably not the best one to use to test, but the track hasn't been cleaned, so we'll soon find out. So it seems to be okay on that point down there, which is great. All of these points have obviously been wired up to the frog on the Cobalt, the frog wire from the point into the Cobalt itself. Let's bring her back. So kind of just running around at about speed step 10 at the moment, which is sort of perfect for a depot style layout. And then we'll run her into this head shunt here. So it's really important to do this sort of testing now before you start doing any ballasting or anything like that. Usually the Cobalt point motors are actually very reliable, to be honest. I used the IP analog point motors on the last layout and had no problems with them whatsoever. So we are running okay so far, which is good. Just run it down to the bottom right hand section of the layout now. So we'll just change this point over. This is point number 3. And what we'll do is we'll change point number 1 as well whilst we're here. Just make sure the loco goes over this point okay down here. And we are traversing the frog. The frog is the main part that I'm concerned about, really. So now I'm just going to test this this section here, and then once we've got the inspection pit in and wired up on this siding here, that should be the last bit of testing to do. Okay, so the second part of this testing will now be to take a Bachmann 37, which is probably my most intermittent runner in the fleet, and just test that across the layout now. That will show up any sort of electrical niggles that I can put right now. There's a few other things that I need to get on with. Some sleepers to replace. As I said, I'll be adding in another inspection pit with some better lighting in there. And I'm just going to test the layout. Once the inspection pit's, the line that's is in for there, I'll be able to wire that up, and that's sort of that area done. Then test, and then tidy up the wiring underneath a bit more, just so it's not sort of all flapping around. And once I'm happy that everything's running okay, probably looking to start weathering the track, and then ballasting, which I'm really looking forward to. Not to mention also the back scene will need finishing off as well. Currently deciding what to do with that, whether just to paint the back scene a nice blue and then put the buildings at the back, or to mount some foam board with the sky, similar to what I did on Denton Lane. It's just quite expensive doing it that way, and I think the effect with a nice blue with the buildings at the back will look just as good, to be honest, so I might save some money there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I've tried to show you me doing the work, so if you like that sort of thing, please let me know, because I'll factor that into future videos. So if you like actually seeing what's being done rather than me shooting it once it's been done and showing you, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make the time to do that. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if this is what you if you've liked this content. If you've got any comments or questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to have a discussion and reply to those. And yeah, that's about it. Better go and tidy up the shed and play some more trains, I think. So take care, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers for now.